To know when not to do is not yet to know. Lao Tzu. That's right. So I want to start this video with this quote because I've realized for myself the truth behind it. So I've talked about my journey from NoFap and porn, and I've realized I've watched so many videos about it, and I know all these nuances and tricks and moments where you can fail, and I don't know, all this theory behind it and the psychology, and but in the end it still happened that I fell back into old behavior patterns. So in the moments where like the impulse comes and you have an urge, or the moments you feel weak, like in these moments it depends, like these test situations that are necessary for your growth. In these test situations you have to pass these test situations. Everything else is just secondary. Yes, you have to be prepared for these test situations, but in the end you just have to be conscious enough to recognize the test for what it is, a test, and don't like be too much in your head and just like forget everything around you and just on autopilot repeat old behavior patterns. Are you conscious enough, or are you able to see, to not judge, like why is it so, like why do I have to have this problem, for example? It's good like that you have these urges and you can prove to yourself that you're able to pass the test, you can say. So if you look around, there are like so many people have had like almost every problem you have someone else had in the past or is currently having. So if you go online on YouTube or on Google, on Reddit, there's like forums for almost every problem on earth, or you have or someone else has ever had. There are forums with hundreds and thousands of people who also had the same problems and tell you how they got their way out of it. So it's not that the knowledge, like you can get all knowledge online. Like you don't have to go to university to get access to high mathematical lessons, for example. Of course, structurized and everything, that's another thing. But like in theory, you get the knowledge online, and yet I feel like many people, or like more people than ever, are lost or like feel lost, and that's quite because of like this overstimulation of information and distractions. That's like there are many good informations online and stuff that can help you, but also like there's never been like such an amount of bullshit online that can just like irritate you. And also, if you have like so many different solutions and points of views, it can like one person says this and it sounds right, but then the other person says that and that also sounds right, and then you just get trapped into all these like tutorials and this tutorial hell. So what I want to preach is like start to think independently and question your own problems, to take a step back and stop this tunnel vision and see the bigger picture behind it, and so you don't get lost in this problem and you don't start to identify with your problems. So see it from a meta perspective, let's say. Yeah, that can help. And if you don't do certain things, stop judging yourself for doing or not doing certain things, because that's part of the process, that's part of your evolvement. Like you evolve, that's part of the game. Of course, you shouldn't do the same mistakes over and over again, but also you shouldn't fake like where you are. And you have to find this balance between making these mistakes and don't judging yourself, but don't let yourself go. That's like this balance you have to find. And also, like, in the end, it's like 99% of the time you're fine, but then there's like these rare moments where you feel weak, or like where you feel the need to do, like, to relapse or do certain things. The goal is to develop the consciousness to be able to recognize these hard, or like in these tough moments, in these difficult situations, to stay conscious and to step above and go past, or like access higher levels. So that's the essence. Alright, I've talked enough. Have a good day. Peace.